If the new season of the Fallout TV series doesn't have a tribute to Matthew Perry, I'm going to be genuinely upset. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be honoring Matthew Perry and celebrating the release of the second season of the Fallout TV series by playing The Outer Worlds 2, as Benny from Fallout New Vegas.
What in the goddamn?
Don't judge me based on how he looks, I suck at character creators. I decided to go with the gambler background because, obviously, and I gave him the suave, nimble, and abrasive traits because Benny is stated to be charismatic, and he continuously slips away from danger, first from the NCR when they ambush the cons at Boulder City, and then potentially from the courier unless you deal with him almost immediately when you see him. Swank is the only person that seems to like him as well, you know, because of his chronic backstabbing disorder. For skills, I'm going to invest mostly in speech, sneak, and lockpick. The rules of this challenge are simple. As Benny wears a suit and carries a unique gold version of the starter pistol, I can only wear a suit and use the Earth Directorate pistol. This also means no throwables that can actually harm enemies, so only smoke grenades and distraction devices. I'm also going to be backstabbing people at every possible opportunity. In my first playthrough, I made peace between the Order and Auntie's Choice, so it might be fun to see what the endgame looks like with both factions mad at me. Our first betrayal is going to be Corbin, who we firstly used to shut off the first group of security automatons we encounter, and later who we can convince to lower the bridge into the skip labs in exchange for erasing the demerits against him in the Arbiter's computer. We don't do that, and we'll be seeing him again later.
I am ruined. You've played me for a fool, talked me into an action that borders on treason.
DeVries out Benny's Benny, and I wind up frozen in carbonite for 10 years before Preston Garvey and Miss Yes Man unthaw me. We travel to the town of Fairfield on Paradise Island, where I talk to this guy that I could swear was voiced by Philip J. Fry, but apparently not. And so I climb a mountain to unlock double jumping, and I break into a safe via a hole in the roof to get some caps from these idiots before going to talk to the Onceler to get my first suit. Before he'll give me a suit, he wants me to go get some information from a nearby protectorate base that was overrun by Raptidons. This is where we meet Inez. Once we're done here, we report back to the Onceler, and he gives me a copy of his suit. And this suit, guys, this is just so friggin' ugly, but it's the only one that I knew about since I actually wore armor the first time around. This is where I unlocked critical thinking and free will, and realized that I don't actually have to play along with the story of the game. I know how to get to the Vox relay, and I don't need any other weapons or armor, and I'm not trying to build positive relationships with anybody. I don't actually need to do any of the side quests. This would turn out to be a colossal mistake. Inez joins our party for all of 5 minutes. I approach the bridge to the Vox relay expecting to have to fight my way through, before realizing that I can just sell Inez to the guard in exchange for passage. This would be the next betrayal of the run. I had planned to have her leave me after I dropped the relay on Foxfield.
Fuck you! You're a traitor and a coward! I should have killed you the moment I set my lamps on you. If you think I'm going down without a fight, you...
It's inside the relay that I realized that skipping all the side quests was a huge mistake, because pretty much all the enemies inside are way higher level than me, and could take me and my companions out with pretty much no effort. Paradoxically, the boss seemed easier to beat than pretty much anyone else here, and that's probably because he just doesn't really move around a lot, and I could hide back up on this walkway and take pot shots at him. This is the one place in the relay that I didn't die multiple times. I found the data on DeVries, and she launches the Vox relay on a crash course with Fairfield. I opt not to redirect it, thus taking out the Onceler and all the Auntie's Choice personnel there. Landing on Dorado, the error of my ways skipping the side quest becomes even more apparent. I get bodied numerous times by no-name scrappers and cultists, but I persist until I can get Azza. I can change her. It was here that I realized that there's a terminal on the second floor of this building that I could have used to flood the ground floor with Zeranium gas, killing all the cultists immediately. This was a colossal waste of time. But I decided to go back to Paradise Island to tackle some side quests and try to gain levels. I went to do Niall's personal quest, but I instead discovered that Zeb despawns if you ignore the quest before you leave Paradise Island for the first time. Whoops. So I recovered a stuffed sprat full of drugs out of a minefield, recovered an automech parts for Vigilant Hogarth, and helped some farmers that were stuck in a treehouse. I also stopped by Free Market Station and got this outfit. It's technically not a suit, but I couldn't stand that ugly thing the Onceler gave me for any longer. After leveling up, I headed back to Dorado and got killed numerous times by invisible cultists, blew up a suicidal scientist, and assisted in a murder investigation before Seer Wiley revealed himself to be working for DeVries. And the sense of dread really started kicking in, because he was a pain to deal with a full arsenal of grenades. It's going to be horrible with this pea shooter. I decided to start investing in points into guns, if for no other reason than to keep from being overwhelmed going forward, and after all, it is one of Benny's tag skills in Vegas. By the time I actually got to Wiley, I had been killed so many times by his goons in the courtyard, I decided to just talk him down instead of engaging in the boss fight. Next, I told Miles that I'd take him to confront DeVries, and then I didn't do that. I snuck my way through most of the station, ran into a slow-motion fan, and tried not to be killed by the snipers and auto mechanicals. I told DeVries that the game was rigged from the start, and fell to my death trying to escape the station. It is at this point in the game where we can choose to join Auntie's Choice, the Order, or form an alliance between the two. Since we're going for an independent New Vegas, we're going to make it harder on ourselves and ignore both factions, and deal with Caesar's Legion on our own. Leaving the bridge, Preston Garvey calls me out for not taking him with, and I honestly thought he was going to leave the party at this point. I know there are certain actions that you can take that will make your allies not want to help you, and I'm trying to find those limits organically. I believe if we hadn't already sold Inez for a bridge pass, she would have left when we dropped the Vox Relay on Fairfield, for example. In the words of the late, great Paul from Mitten Squad, may he rest in peace, this is where the real game begins. I first went to Praetor for the Rift Matter modulator, and I decided to also tackle the Lightning Tower quest for some easy XP. After fixing the Northeast Lightning Rod, I got the modulator and committed my next betrayal, giving up Dr. Hurley for safe passage out of the lab. Then I took Ozza to a cultist camp so she can find information and fix the rest of the lightning rods. Landing on Cloister, I opened a rift for some Purpleberry Crunch. I took out Ozza's old pal for a stretch free, and because I'm really starting to dread dealing with the archive, I went back to Praetor to reveal that her whole life is a lie.
Considered betrayal if it was always
After dealing with Dagmar, I encouraged Ozza's leadership of the Dawn. This will be important later. Back on Cloister, I decided to also do Marisol's personal quest, both for the XP and so I don't have to go straight to the archive. While I was in the area, I decided to shake down and subsequently betray the Sub-Rosa finagler. I decided to quit putting it off and head towards the archive, by way of Newton. As I approached the town, my companion suggested that bringing Ozza might be useful as she's the new head of the Dawn, so I do that, and it backfired because the leader of the cultists in Newton knew Ozza and was hostile. Last time I listened to my crew, I was just going to sneak past the cultists and wound up having to slaughter them. I reconstituted the bridge, entered the archive, and played the recording from the Sub-Rosa finagler, causing this Protectorate trooper to vomit onto a turret, killing him and his buddies. I rushed across the bridge, past the... The archive computer told me that several systems were in disrepair, so I had to travel to cold storage, punch processing, and then restart the reactor before it could analyze the Rift data. The part that I dreaded the most was the reactor and the bunker mechs within it. I tried activating the fire suppression system, thinking it would kill all organic enemies in the reactor, but it didn't seem to do anything, so I reloaded a save and disabled the turrets instead. This boss fight took me 20 minutes and I died several times, but I figured out that I could hide behind these glowing orange things in the corners of the room to break the bunker's line of sight and get my companions back up without needing to revive them. So anytime they both fell, I did that, and it was just a matter of shooting it till it died, occasionally using Marisol to stun it and Valerie to heal me. I also picked the Profitalist personality because I felt like that's what Benny would do. It reminds me the most of Yes Man. Not that it matters, since I didn't restore the thermal transfer and the archive overheated in the process of analyzing the Rift data. All that was left was to go back to the newly reconstituted Horizon Point Station to confront Legate Lanius and close the rifts for good. After touching down, I ran past all the enemies, mercy killed a member of my original team, and closed the plasma rift using math. I boarded the Sovereign ship, and I initially planned to just stealth my way through, until I discovered that the hangar door is sealed until you deal with the Protectorate soldiers, including another bunker mech. So I dealt with it the same as the last one. I'd attack until my party fell, hide until I'm no longer in combat, rinse and repeat. From there, I ran past some mechs and some N-ray traps, convinced this scientist that I'm something of a scientist myself, and he gave me his keycard to go talk to Carthonasi. Now all that's left to do is deal with the console, and holy god. The initial phase of this fight isn't so bad. He's protected by 2 sentinels and a shock turret. Deal with his bodyguards with some quick maneuvering and use of Oz's companion ability before she gets knocked out, and then it's easy enough to just hide in the back and take pot shots at him. After his health drops so much, he begins reconstituting more reinforcements with hammers, and if I'm lucky, I can drop one with a single magazine from my pistol. This does not account for shots that I miss trying to evade these quick bastards, but if I keep Val back and keep reviving her when she goes down from the console's chain gun, she makes halfway decent distraction while I gun them down. I can usually beat the first group, but the second group always got me. After trying for several hours, I eventually just dropped the difficulty to story mode, and for some reason it spawned the first group of reconstituted Hammer Bros almost immediately. But they were no match for my main character energy. The final fight took me 5 minutes on story mode. That feels like cheating, but it proves that you can in fact beat The Outer Worlds 2 as Benny.